Verse 10, supplement to 40 verses on reality. Ulladhu Naarpadhu anubandham given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. தேகம் கடம் நிகர் சடம் இதற்கு அகமெனும் நிகழ்வு இலதால் நாகம் சடலமில் துயிலில் தினமுறும் நமது இயலால் கோகம் கரண் எவன் உளன் உணர்ந்துளர் உலகுகை உள்ளே சோகம் புரண அருணகிரி சிவபு சுயமொழிர்வான். He says, Deham Gadam Nigar Sadam. This body is inert. Jada is inert, like a pot. That is the example given those days. For everything they'll give the example of clay and pot. So like a pot, this body is inert. And this body does not have the experience of I. We have to give special attention here. This body does not have I experience at all. What really has I experience is the ego. In fact, that is again borrowed consciousness, borrowed experience from Atman. Earlier we saw the body does not say I, nor does the world say I. In between, to the extent of the body, there arises something and which says I. That is ego, ahankaram, bodily sense of I, jiva bodham, all that psychological sense of I. So since this body does not have the experience of I, naham, I am not. Actually, this verse explains the ancient dictum or sloka, we can say. Deham, Naham, Koham, Soham. Deham, Naham, I am not the body. Deham, Naham, I am not the body. Koham, then who am I? Soham, he am I. Not I am he, capital H. He am I, God am I. I am not the body. Who am I? I am, he am I. Not I am he, sorry. He am I. That is how we should say. Because this individual, limited individual cannot become God. God is already appearing as this individual. So if we bring that to our awareness, then we become that. That's what it is said. Aham Brahmasmi is an affirmation, we can say. Aham Brahmasmi is nothing but asserting the truth that already prevails, that I am Brahman. So Deham Gadam Nigar Sadam idharku Ahamanam Nigalvu Iladal Naham. I am not this body, because the body does not have the real I experience. Sadalamil Tuyilil Denamurum Namadi Iyalal Koham Karan Yavan Ulan Unarndular Ulaguhai Ulle Sogam Puranas Sivabu Suyamolirvan. This is a long sentence which simply says, since in deep sleep there is no experience of I either, then we start inquiring, then who is it that is saying I? Who is that is saying I am enjoying, I am the doer? There is somebody who is saying that. If you go inside and then you realize your true nature, there in the form of spuranam, a sort of pulsation, I, wordless, palpable sensation will shine forth. In this he has included his guru's name, Arunachala, Sogam, Purana, Sivababu, Suyamolirvan. Sogam, Purana, Arunagiri, Sivababu, Suyamolirvan. Arunagiri is nothing but the Arunachala mountain. Siva Vibhu, the all-pervading Lord Shiva, which is nothing but Brahman. Okay, all this nomenclature is what is only confusing. Of course, Sri Bhagavan was himself a devotee to Arunachala mountain, and hence he has written many verses singing the glory of Arunachala. So all this means, the same thing. If you turn your attention without entertaining thoughts, if we inquire to whom is this thought, which is the birthplace of this thought, there in the very same place, a sort of palpable sensation, spurana, will appear. And soon that spurana also, like how a camphor gets burnt, it will also burn all the vasanas and it will itself become quiet. Because stillness is the ultimate definition of our real nature, Brahman nature. Stillness. Be still and know that I am God. This is what is said in this verse. This Purana experience, actually, this is Atma, this is the ego, for example. If you drive this ego slowly towards its source by inquiring, who am I? Which is the birthplace of thought. This way, if you go on inquiring, if you drive the I thought to its source, when it nears the self, this I thought, when it nears the self, there arises this Spuranam. Because when it gets closer, we start getting the experience of oneness, Brahman experience, but which first shows itself as that Spuranam, as this palpable sensation of I, which is an indication of the presence of Atma, Brahman. And as we stay close to it, if we continue vicharam and keep our attention on Atma itself, this Purana also burns all vasanas and then itself becomes quiet. This is the process of realization Sri Bhagavan has described in many places, in many verses. There is no mystery or magic to this process. From Atma, the mind arises. To the Atma, it goes back. From the Atma, Brahman, the entire universe arises, it stays for a while, and it goes back its source. This is what Shankara also says in Atma Bodham. Ulagangalalla udittirundu oyum munar. Like how the water bubbles, they emanate from the bottom of the water tub, they come up and then they burst. The same way all the worlds, the entire universe, like water bubbles, they emanate, they stay, and they are reabsorbed into Brahman. So it is Brahman's mischief. Whose mischief? Your mischief. Whose mischief? My mischief. Whose mischief? The mosquito's mischief. Whose mischief? The cow's mischief. Whose mischief? The lion's mischief. Whose mischief? The stone's mischief. The star's mischief. The sun's mischief. Space's mischief. Water's mischief. Everything is nothing but Brahman. Due to its power of Maya, Brahman's power of Maya, this dance of manifestation happens. And in the dance of manifestation, in the physical order, that impermanent order, there are several material things. Among them, your body is one and my body is one. What really powers this body and gives this psychological sense of way is none but the same Brahman. This is the fooling mechanism, trapping mechanism we need to understand. To transcend this, to overcome this fooling mechanism is the goal of life. Because when the ego, which presents the entire universe, this body, the world and the universe, is presented by this representative called ego, when you push him back to its source, no body is left, no world is left, no universe is left is in our awareness. What is left is the only one thing that ever exists, that is Brahman. That is what we are. That is what self-realization is all about. As I said earlier, it is said clearly in Dakshinamurti Stotram by Shankara. Sri Bhagavan has translated. Jnanam udibodu, sorry. Jnana nilayuru neram tannai uruvana ivan neer kanban. When realization dawns, one sees oneself as the only one existing, not this body. What is inside, what is pervading this body and extending beyond the body, that subtle Brahman, that's all. We have imagined the world to be very gross and solid. There is something called Brahman which is so subtle, the subtlest of all subtle things, that it can pervade and breathe life into, so to say, the entire phenomenon of the universe. And that is what we are. So any number of verses, if we can go on learning. It depends on the need of each person. Some may need 100 verses to listen to, some may need 200, 300 or 500 or 1000. I think Bhagavan has written maximum, I think 800 or 900. Let me see it. Okay. So if you read it again and again, it is useful. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam is the method taught by Advaita Vedanta, our ancient rishis. Keep listening to it again and again. If you don't listen to truth, untruth you will be hearing again and again. So we need to guard ourselves against untruth. If you want truth, constant and steady Shravanam Mananam Nididhyasanam. Aham Brahmasmi. Swami Vivekananda said, keep saying Aham Brahmasmi till it tingles with each cell in your body. So the same way we can go on reminding ourselves, and coupled with the vicharam that Sri Bhagavan has taught, which is the birthplace of Aithat. We are just driving the attention towards the source. Imagine there is a fountain, from a particular place, the water starts jetting out. And there we need to keep the attention, the birthplace of the fountain, water. There if we keep our attention, that fountain will not rise, it will subside. It will just settle down there. Thoughts will subside. Be still and know that I am God. That's all. And we need definitely method, some method or other. Whatever works for you, whatever works for me. Mantra japa, yes. Or breath observation, yes. Yogic techniques, yes. Concentrating on one particular thought, yes. Or direct method, the ultimate method. Sri Bhagavan taught, Vicharam, who am I, which is the birthplace of I thought. So, this body is equal to a jadam, an inert object, a dead body kind of a thing. Since it does not have I experience at all, I am rejecting it, I am not this. And in deep sleep also, since this I thought is not there, I look at the waking state and start analyzing who is it now when this was not there in deep sleep, who is it that is now appearing and saying as I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Who is saying that? If you analyze, there a kind of palpable sensation will arise. That thought, I thought, will subside and a palpable sensation will arise, and that will burn all your vasanas, memories, attachments, and peace will, ultimate peace will prevail, thoughtless state will prevail, and that is realization. So let us do hearing, reflecting and nididhyasanam, which is nothing but settling down in peace.